Look, I don't know exactly how this episode of Trent Takes On 2.0 is going to go. I do know this. If you are offended easily by bad language, know that I usually keep it to a minimum, but I do put explicit in every one of my podcasts because it is. I use, I drop some F-bombs. I use some questionable language at times. This episode promises to be absolutely laced with bad language. So, if that's not your cup of joe, I don't know what to tell you. If you've been with me this long, you're probably fine with it. So I'm not going to sweat it too much. But today I want to talk about the First Amendment, specifically freedom of speech, fascism, and how they're not particularly compatible. So there'll be F-bombs and fascism bombs. So, all right, cool. Let's do this. Welcome back to Trent Takes On 2.0. I'm the Trent from the title of the show, and I'm here to fucking talk about some shit that is going down. The Trump regime does shit all the time that just infuriates me. Because I'm not pro-fascist. I'm pro-freedom. There's the F word I love. Freedom. We're supposed to be free to criticize the government for its actions. We're supposed to be free to criticize people who have decided that they deserve to be leaders of their character and their actions. We are supposed to be free to criticize them of those things. We do not have kings here in America. 250 years on, and we do not have kings in America. We're not supposed to have kings in America. We're not supposed to have thin-skinned monarchs who were born with golden spoons jammed in their mouths every morning and millions of dollars in their duty-filled diapers. But that's what we have right now. We have a little thin-skinned, childish, bitch-ass mad king who gets upset every time somebody makes fun of him. Every time something doesn't go his way, he throws his little shit fit. He throws his little anger pissy fit. By the way, I'm going to turn down the gain all the way across the board on this show because I'm going to be loud as shit. He throws his little shit fits, his little hissy fits, and all of these little sycophantic fascist brown shirts run along behind him and do his bidding, or what they perceive to be his bidding at every turn. He's not actually smart enough to come up with some of the fucking crazy shit that they launch at everybody. From their weaponization of the Department of Justice, the Environmental Protection Agency, the FCC, the Federal Trade Commission, the Federal Communications Commission, that's what the FCC is. They've weaponized every piece of this government down to the military itself for use for the mad king's whims, and no one stands up to this fool because they're all scared. They're all scared that he's gonna get mad. So what brings all of this on is the question. Okay, well, let's get to it. Saturday night was the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's supposed to be a day to celebrate the First Amendment of the United States. It's a dinner where all of the White House correspondents, all of the media that covers the White House itself gets together and kind of pats each other on the back. They give out scholarships and these little awards and things. And it's their way of saying, look, we're together in this, and we're together in being the eyes and ears of the people. So we see and we listen, and then we ask questions and we report on our findings so that the American people are kept in the loop about what's going on in the most powerful house in America, the White House, the residence of the president. Now, for years and years, presidents would actually go to these things. And it was kind of like a roast. They would get up there and they would talk smack, and it was fun. They had comedians that would do the thing. In fact, Donald Trump's political origin story goes back to the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, where Barack Obama had the audacity to make fun of him. And there it goes, you know? This year's, Donald Trump never went to one before this year's. He announced he was going to this year's. And they hold this thing at the Hilton in D.C. Right outside this building is where John Hinckley shot Ronald Reagan back in 81, 82. I don't remember which year it was. But Hinckley got some shots off. And anyway, Trump was supposed to speak at the dinner. They were all in the ballroom, and there was reports of a person with a weapon who was going to attempt to assassinate we don't have any of the details yet because this administration refuses to give out any details. I just called it an administration. This regime refuses to give out any details. Well, you can't trust them with any details. We can say that. A Secret Service member was shot in his bulletproof vest, but they haven't said by whom, because they don't know by whom. Chances are it was actually friendly fire. Because from what I understand, the guy trying to assassinate the president had traveled from California. He had been posting anti-Trump stuff for multiple years. Okay, join the club. Lots of us do that. But he bought a gun and traveled across country to try and murder Donald Trump at this thing. And that was his half-baked plan. He wrote a manifesto because, of course you do, where he called Trump a pedophile and a racist. Actually, he didn't mention his name, I don't think, but he talked about how he wasn't going to have a pedophile or a rapist's actions on his name. It was weird. Okay, crazy people plan shit like this. And then, anyway, he never got anywhere close to Trump. Not even in the same room. He didn't even get on the same floor before he was apprehended. They took the guy alive. Okay. In the aftermath of that, we're calling this an assassination attempt. Okay? Half of the internet is convinced that it's a fake assassination attempt, like the one in Butler. Butler, Pennsylvania, where Donald Trump got his ear blown off, only it didn't get blown off because he still has his ear. And we all know cartilage doesn't grow back. Ask Evander Holyfield, who's still missing a big piece of his ear because, Mike Tyson bit it off. Ears don't grow back. Mick Foley could tell you that. Anyway, I digress. We never saw any of the investigation that came after that because they squashed it. The Trump regime squashed that. They didn't give out the report. We don't know what the medical reports were from when he was rushed to a Pennsylvania hospital. So, of course, there's all this conspiracy around Butler being staged. They haven't been honest about any of it. As for this one, it doesn't look staged, but it certainly looks like it was so ham-handed that it was nowhere close to success. But they're taking advantage of it in such a way that it feels like it's staged. Like within an hour after the event, they had sent out into their group chat of MAGA influencers that this is why we need the ballroom. What? It fucking doesn't even make sense. You didn't go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and you were are you saying that the president shouldn't leave the White House anymore? To me, it seems like the security measures worked just fine here. The guy was apprehended, and a guy with sure, it was a terrible plan. It was stupid. And it was foolish to even try. But he was apprehended with no one even getting injured. The one Secret Service person who got shot in their bulletproof vest, probably by another Secret Service agent, is fine. No injuries. Are we serious? This is why you need a $400 million ballroom that, by the way, they claimed was going to be paid for by Trump's donations, by those people who donated their money to it. But now they're like, no, we're going to have the taxpayers pay for it. So the ballroom that nobody fucking asked for, that's going to be a goddamn eyesore, now they want the taxpayers to pay for. Okay, I see how it is. So they can keep the money that they already got donated to them, I'm guessing. I digress. Donald Trump was fine. He was never in any real danger. They got him out of there, no problem. And he didn't have to hang around and participate in the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which they're now talking about apparently rescheduling. Well, choices for everybody, I guess. Anyway, as expected, in the aftermath of another act of potential political violence, calls come out to reduce the temperature, take down the temperature. And this is what I really wanted to talk about today. Holy fuck. Only I did get sidetracked, so we'll come back around to the sidetrack, which is what I started to talk about. We're going to tone down the rhetoric. That's what we've got to do. We've got to tone down the rhetoric. That's what happens every time there's any kind of even close to political violence. We got to tone down the rhetoric. It only comes when there's attempted political violence toward the right or actual political violence toward the right. For example, in 2018, there was a guy named Cesar Sayoc who sent pipe bombs in the mail to, like, I want to say the number was 65. It was in the 60s. Democratic leaders, everybody from Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi, and I mean, just up and down to Barack Obama. I mean, he sent pipe bombs to basically every prominent Democrat he could think of. He was caught. No one was injured, but Cesar Sayoc was caught, and he was super pro-Trump, and he was saying that the Democrats were the enemies of the country and that they needed to be killed. Now, where the hell did he get an idea like that? Couldn't have been from Donald Trump, because that's exactly where he got it. But that's what he thought. That guy was sentenced to 20 years in prison for acts of terrorism. Cesar Sayoc, 2018. In the aftermath of that, Donald Trump was asked about Cesar Sayoc and him trying to commit violence in his name. And did he think it was time to turn down the rhetoric? And Trump's response was, turn down the rhetoric? No. Maybe turn up. Turn it up. That's where we are. This is the same man who celebrated the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife, celebrated the death of Robert Mueller, and this is all just in the last few months. This is the guy who has called us radicals, vermin, enemies of the state, enemies of the people, traitors. He called us the seditious six, the six former military and intelligence officers who put out that video saying that people in the military have a duty to refuse illegal orders. He called them treasonous and called on them to be hanged. That's real. That's absolutely what happened. That was last year. And he continues to call people scum, to call them a disgrace, to call not people who disagree with him. Okay? Authoritarian. fascist. You can't criticize dear leader. That's not allowed. So it's always, always, always about whether or not you agree with Trump. And the instant that you disagree with Trump, you're an enemy. You deserve scorn. You deserve to be treated like a traitor. You deserve to be hung. That's his stance. That's him toning down the rhetoric. And he does it all the time. And it never ends. Okay? So they're mad at us. The White House press secretary comes out there and calls it the Democrat Party. We are the ones that have instigated this. We're the ones that have called the president names like Hitler. No, actually, it was J.D. Vance that called him Hitler. But I digress. I've never referred to Donald Trump as Hitler. Hitler was far smarter. Far smarter. Far, 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 far smarter. This guy's just a wannabe. He's just a wannabe authoritarian dictator. I wouldn't put a name on him. He's too fucking stupid for that. He's tapped into the anger of a country. And now he's betrayed those same people. But they don't care because they're in the cult. They see his failures as their failures. So I want to read something from Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland. He's a Democrat. He's an awesome representative. He is a he is a constitutional professor of law. Jamie Raskin understands history, our place in it, the importance of the Constitution, the importance of democracy. Jamie Raskin gets it. Jamie Raskin led the second impeachment of Donald Trump. Was a part. I believe he was the foreman of it. Here's his quote in response to Caroline Leavitt saying that it's the Democrat Party's fault. He says there's no clean way to hive off terms like fascism or authoritarianism from Trump's policies. Even if you disagree that the words apply, their use is backed up by a genuine attempt at intellectual justification for it. The use of these terms just is deeply linked to the assessments of Trump's actual policies. This is the important part. From lawless renditions to foreign gulags, that's right, sending people to foreign prisons, third country prisons, not deporting people, not to their home countries, but to third countries and putting them in prison for the civil offense of being in this country and being undocumented. From the lawless renditions to foreign gulags to the unleashing of heavily armed militias in American cities, to the naked intimidation of large swaths of civil society. That's what he's doing. Those are facts. Those are facts. ICE is his private militia now, funded by us, the taxpayers. Let's go on. But by contrast, when Trump and MAGA media figures call Democrats communists or Antifa, all of that is entirely disconnected from any policy realities. And that's true. Many press figures would like it if there were an Archimedean midpoint between the two parties in all of these matters. He's such a great writer. But there isn't. At its most basic level, one party continues to function as an actor in a liberal democracy, whereas Trump and much of his movement, with the eager participation of Republicans, simply do not. Dispensing with harsh but accurate descriptions of his real goals would whitewash them. He's right. See, the thing is, we get this moment of potential political violence, and then it's straight to the both sidesism. Democrats do this, Republicans do this. We both do this. Both sides need to tone it down. Both sides need to tone it down. Only the Republicans say it over and over and over again that the Democrats need to tone it down. The Democrats need to tone it down. The Democrats need to tone it down. Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you, Republicans. Fuck you. I said there were going to be some F-bombs in this fucking show, and I meant it. We, the good, liberal, democratic-loving, democracy-loving people of this country who believe in freedom and freedom of speech, we do get to say what we want when we criticize the president, because that's what freedom of speech is. Do we call for violence? No. I haven't called for violence. I haven't called for violence once. I'm not interested in violence. I'm technically a pacifist. I don't want to see these people killed. I want to see them held responsible for their actions because they are criminals. They are abusive criminals. They are stealing from us. They are stealing from our country. They have broken entire government agencies that belong to us, not them, us. This country, this government is ours. It is the people's, not the mad kings. The whole point of democracy is that one crazy psychopath can't fucking just change everything by himself. Just because he won an election doesn't make him king. We're supposed to have checks and balances so that he can't get out over his skis, so that he can't go out and jump into foreign wars by himself. He jumped into foreign wars, including Venezuela, which they're still bombing boats in this Caribbean, by the way, and Iran, because he fucking felt like it. That's not his fucking job. The decision to spend our blood and treasure on foreign wars is the purview of the Congress of the United States, not the presidency. It is absolutely fucking ludicrous. Ludicrous that this criminal, adjudicated fraudster, not just personally, but remember, the Trump Foundation was a charity that was found guilty of so much fraud that it was forced to completely close down and never be allowed to open its doors again. That really happened. That really happened. This man who claims to be hunting fraud, that people have been stealing from the United States government. We're chasing fraud. They have a whole fucking raid going on right now in Minnesota where they're raiding private businesses over quote unquote allegations of fraud. You want fraud? It's in the fucking White House right now. They're the fucking frauds. Donald Trump constantly projects onto everyone else his own criminality, his own inadequacies, his own failures, his own shortcomings, his own flaws. When he calls other people enemies of the state, it's him. He's the enemy. Because we, the people, are the state, motherfucker. What are you, fucking new? This government exists because it exists by the consent of the governed. That means we hold the power, not the government. We can take that away from them whenever we want. And that's what we plan on doing this midterm election, my friends. And that's why they want to change the rules. And that's why they want to try and break the election system so that we can't. Well, fuck you, homie. You can't stop us. We are electing a check on your power. You bet your ass we are. I'm not going to be fucking gaslit anymore about this both sidesism and toning down the rhetoric. I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to fucking do it. And you shouldn't either. If you're listening to this, you probably agree with me on this whole Democrats need to tone it down and not call them fascists and authoritarians. Okay, well, if you weren't acting like fascists and authoritarians, I'd stop calling you that. The problem is you just keep going further. You just keep doing more and more things that the people of this country don't fucking like. You just keep doing things that you don't have the power to do, whether it's tariffs or establishing a secret police force, wearing masks that are apparently ungovernable. There is no accountability. There is no oversight for ICE. We can't even look at detention centers anymore. They refuse to fucking live up to their part of the bargain. You're allowed to have a police force as long as there is oversight of it and make sure that it isn't abusive and corrupt. Well, guess what? They're abusive and corrupt. And that's why they're trying to keep us from seeing that. That's why they're trying to control the media. They're trying to control us all. So, I'm not going to be gaslit any fucking more about who is responsible for the rhetoric. Until Donald Trump climbs down from his... Oh, God damn it. I don't even have the fucking words. I'm so bent over this. It's Democrats, it's liberals' fault. No, it's not. No one ever fucking talked like this before Donald Trump came along. No one ever talked about how, here's a flashback to you, 2016, we were running for president, right? It was Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, and he got up there and he said, if Hillary Clinton wins, the judges are going to take away your Second Amendment, and there won't be anything you can do about it. Well, I guess there's something that you Second Amendment people can do about it. Does anybody remember that? Am I the only one? Am I the only one that remembered him saying, you Second Amendment people can do something about that? This guy has been inciting violence nonstop since he came down that fucking escalator in 2015. What do you think January 6th was? January 6th, 2021, he stood up there and he said, you've got to fight like hell or you won't have a country anymore. You got to do the right thing or you won't have a country anymore. And the right thing was convincing the Congress and Vice President, Mike Pence, to throw out the results of a fucking election. He riled up that crowd and sent them down the street to trash the Capitol building and stop the certification of an election that he lost by over 7 million votes. That he still hasn't accepted defeat on. That they are still, as a fucking regime, attempting to rewrite the history to say that Donald Trump actually won the 2020 election. Are you fucking kidding me? I refuse to be gaslit about this anymore. You want to know where the bad rhetoric comes from? It's from the top. It's from that ridiculous, orange-painted, awful excuse for a human that calls himself president. The evil rhetoric comes from the top. It comes from the White House itself and all of their little sycophantic shitbags. Now, I've said my piece on the gaslighting. Now the thing that I really wanted to talk about, the First Amendment thing that I wanted to talk about. Because Melania decided that she didn't like something that Jimmy Kimmel said, a joke that Jimmy Kimmel told on Thursday of last week, 2 days before the Correspondents' Dinner. and the attempted assassination. The joke was about Melania sitting there looking like something about her looking like she'll be the happiest widow in Washington, whatever. The joke was about Donald Trump's old age. It wasn't about anybody killing him. It wasn't a call to violence. Was it a funny joke? It was okay. It wasn't great. It was kind of tongue-in-cheeky. Kind of flew by pretty quick. But you notice it aired on Thursday. Nobody said a fucking peep about it until she brought it up on, I believe, it wasn't Saturday night. I believe it was Sunday. And now, so what happens on Monday? Monday, Donald Trump decides Jimmy Kimmel's got to be fired again for telling a joke that they didn't like, claiming that it was inciting to violence. What? If it was truly inciting to violence, why wouldn't you say something right away? Oh, that's right. Because it wasn't. Stupid. It's gaslighting. They continue to gaslight us all. You don't see what you think. You don't see what you think you see. You see what we tell you to see. You see what we describe, not what you actually see, not what you actually hear. You hear it our way, not your way. That's what gaslighting is. From a movie called Gaslight. Telling you how reality is. Right? It's Orwellian. It's fucking Orwellian. They tell you what is real, what is not real. That's the rule. That's fascism, baby. Anyway, they decided they want Jimmy Kimmel removed, fired by Disney, ABC, which is owned by Disney. All right? They've tried this before, and now they're going to do it again. And it just came out a few minutes before I started recording, that Brendan Carr, head of the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, has decided to review ABC's broadcast licenses early. It is impossible to see this as anything other than retaliation against ABC for platforming Kimmel, who has said something that is perfectly fine that they took offense to. So the punishment for a joke that the authoritarian fascist leader of this country, fucking joke, fascist dictator wannabe, dictator. It's funny. It's in the word. Thanks, Adrian, for that, by the way. Shout out. This fucking guy doesn't like what Jimmy Kimmel says, doesn't like a fucking joke, and so he wants ABC to fire him. So to all of you free speechers out there, the Joe Rogans and Theo Vaughns, all of these comedians who thought it would be so fucking great if we just elected a real free speech administration who let us say the words that we want to say again. We're so excited to be free speech again. We're going to make speech free. We're not going to be canceled. We're not going to allow woke to tell us what we can or can't say. Congratulations. You helped elect this fascist authoritarian piece of shit with his thin ass skin, who is having comedians fired over totally asinine jokes. Nothing to it. There's nothing fucking there. Freedom of speech, huh? Where the fuck are you now? I'm still here. Fucking Brendan Carr, that bald-headed, white-bearded piece of trash, is fucking younger than me. He looks like he's 70, and he's younger than me. He's like 46. Apparently being evil doesn't wear well. Stephen Miller isn't even fucking 40. Dude looks like fucking Nosferatu. I'm just saying. We are going to need some serious reckoning. Serious reckoning. I am, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm pissed off. Still continuing. Really? I do everything in my power to not be pissed off. My loving wife says, "You're so serious all the time. Is it Trump's fault that you're like this?" Yeah. Yeah. Because that dude and the people who fucking follow him around, the people who grovel at his feet, the people who lift him up and make him into some sort of fucking golden god, the Sean Hannitys of the world who have given up on fucking Catholicism because Donald Trump is raging against the fucking Pope. A lifetime of being Catholic? Nah, fuck that. It's all about Donald Trump. Because all of these motherfuckers are ruining the future that I'm supposed to be leaving for my kids. You know, there's an old Native American proverb that we don't inherit this earth. We didn't inherit this earth. We borrow it from our children. And someday you have to give it to them. And they borrow it from their children, and so on and so forth. The future is bleak as fuck for the little people that I have brought into this world. I am displeased with these people. If the nice pantsuit ladies had won, I voted for both of them, by the way. If either one of them had won, we would be in a better place right now by a damn sight. 1,000,000 fucking miles. But no. No. We have to be able to say the things that we want because we're Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn and fuck you guys. Fuck you. We believe that he's going to lower prices. What the fuck? The guy who lies with every fucking breath isn't going to do anything for you because he doesn't work for you. He works for the billionaires. That's who he is. That's what he works for. That's all there is. The billionaire class. So, all of that said, I'm done. I'm out. I got to leave. I actually have a 40-minute cap on this show. So I'm out of time. But I want to tell you that I thank you so very much for being with me on this journey. Please share this with a friend because that's how we're going to spread the good word. I'm sorry to bail so quick, but I looked over and saw the time and I am out. I got to go. Until next time, I'll talk to you very soon. Until next time, please be good humans. It's the least we can do. Stay frosty, stay safe, stay strong. And I'll talk to you soon.